yesterday afternoon, the victim from the violent assault on Mill Street succumbed to his injuries. So the investigation is being reclassified as a homicide investigation. So just to reiterate what happened, on Wednesday, October 19th, at about 6 a.m., Windsor police were called to an apartment located in an apartment building on the 600 block of Mill Street. And it was at this location that we found the 26-year-old male victim violently assaulted. Our major crime branch began investigating the incident right away, and they spoke to a 67-year-old witness who was residing at the apartment that the victim was located. And through the investigation, he was placed under arrest, and further investigation into the incident led to identifying 3 other suspects that were involved in this violent assault. So we just wanted to reiterate that we believe the victim was targeted in the incident, and this was not a random act. Through the investigation also, our detectives found that the victim was lured to the rear parking lot at Tim Hortons located in the 2800 block of Howard Avenue. And this happened on Tuesday, the night before, on October 18th, between the hours of 8 and 9 p.m. And we just want to highlight this area because this is an area where we're looking for the public's input, if anybody saw anything at this location at all, because we believe that the victim was forced into a red vehicle, and ultimately, obviously, he was found the next morning at the apartment on Mill Street. So this is an area of focus of our major crime unit right now. So if anybody has any information at all in relation to the altercation at Tim Hortons, we want to hear from you, or the location of the red vehicle that the victim was forced into. We want to hear from you as well. So the Walter Smith, his charges have been updated to forcible confinement and murder. He was arrested and charged this morning. But we also have warrants that were issued for the 3 additional suspects that were identified in this investigation. And we are releasing the images of them, and we're hoping that the public, if anybody has any information on them as well, their whereabouts, we want to hear from you. So definitely give our major crime branch a call on that. I'll have Staff Sergeant Todd Cox from our major crime unit speak to any questions in regards to the investigation, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, Andy. Just to remind everybody, this is an active, ongoing investigation, so we may be limited as to what we can discuss, but so don't take it as being short. So I'll try to do my best to answer any questions you may have.
You mentioned Tim Hortons. Have you been in contact with Timmy's, and do they have video surveillance?
Yes, we've obtained video surveillance from that location, and our investigators are presently reviewing it. Again, we believe strongly that there may have been witnesses there, and we're asking those individuals that may have witnessed this altercation in the rear parking lot to come forward and speak to the detectives of major crime or even Crime Stoppers.
You mentioned that he was involved in a stabbing 2 weeks before this, or at the end of September. Anything?
Yes, our victim was involved in a stabbing. However, that incident right now is still under investigation, and I really can't comment on that one.
Sorry, was he the victim or an accused in the stabbing?
He was a victim.
Okay. The body, when it was recovered, is it assumed that it was dumped there, or like, what were his vital signs like when you found him, I guess?
Again, I can't comment on what was at the scene at this point. Unfortunately, we have yet to speak to the victim, obviously, since he's passed. So unfortunately, we didn't get an opportunity to speak to him, so I can't comment on that right now.
Is the victim from Windsor, Essex?
Yes, he is.
Not identifying the date.
You know, out of respect to the family, we're not going to release the victim's name.
Anybody other than Smith involved live in that apartment?
No, we do not believe so.
Sorry, so just to clarify, the victim, the apartment he was found in, that's not his apartment? Can you comment on that?
That is not the victim's apartment, no.
Is that drug related?
Again, I'm not going to comment on motive at this point.
The 3 people who you're looking for, Are they locals?
They have ties to Windsor. Information has been received that they may have left the city. So at this point, we have information they may be in the Kingston area. So I know we've reached out to our media sources to get that information to the Kingston area.
So where does the investigation go from here?
Well, again, we're asking the public's assistance. We know people have seen something. Again, at the Tim Hortons, we're asking for anybody who may have witnessed the initial application to come forward. Again, if individuals are afraid to speak to investigators directly, we really request that they get ahold of Crime Stoppers.
Have you spoken to the victim's family, and if so, anything you can share there?
We have been in contact with the victim's family. Our victim services has been in contact with the victim's family. As everybody can imagine, it's a difficult time for them, but in regards to specific conversations, I won't comment on that.
The images of the suspects, correct me if I'm wrong, kind of look like mugshots. What is the relationship? Can you speak to the relationship these suspects have had with the police in the past? And would it be similar to violent crimes or?
What I'll comment on is that many individuals in this investigation are known to the police. This was not a random act. All persons involved know each other. So I want to reassure the community on that fact. In regards to their contacts with police at this point, I think I'm not going to comment on that.
Did the victim pass away this morning or late last night?
Yesterday afternoon.
The state of the victim was pretty nasty from the descriptions that we've received. Is this kind of, I mean, how does this rank in terms of the kind of stuff that you guys see?
It was a violent act. Again, I'm not going to get into specifics about the injuries. Again, we have a young man who's passed away, so of course it's going to be treated accordingly.
They had him overnight though, right? Kind of fair to say he was like tortured. It was a prolonged thing, or?
Trevor, I can't comment on that right now. It's just too early in the investigation.
Other residents in the apartment building, are they being questioned, or that unit? So not the unit, just the building itself?
We've spoken to many residents within that building, and again, we're asking for any that we may not have spoken to for whatever reasons to contact the Major Crime Unit. We'd like to speak to them. Okay, we're good? Okay, thanks. Okay.
Thanks, Steph.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.